Hello champions and happy Wednesday. Today we're going to spend some time dividing decimals by decimals. You're going to do an awesome job. I know it. So does Mr. Smiles. You're getting the double thumbs up today. Happy Wednesday and let's get started. Let's start with an example. 4/10 divided by 2/10. And I've got a model of 4/10 on the right side of the screen. This problem means how many 2/10 are inside of 4/10. Now, I could count. There's two groups of 2/10 inside of 4/10, but that's not always going to be practical. So let's talk about how we can do this problem. 2/10 and 4/10. When I divide 4/10 by 2/10, I can write that as a fraction. Remember, fractions and division problems are the same thing. Now, I can create an equivalent fraction when I multiply by the same thing in the numerator and denominator. So if I multiply times 10 over 10, I'm not changing the value of my division problem. 4/10 times 10 is 4, and 2/10 times 10 is 2. So 4/10 divided by 2/10 is the same as 4 divided by 2. What's 4 divided by 2? It's 2. I can use place value understanding and knowing that division problems are the same as fractions to divide decimals by decimals. Let's look at another example. 3 6/10 divided by 9/10. I could multiply both the dividend and the divisor, the numerator and the denominator, by 10 to create a new division problem. I'd need to move the decimal once in each number. So 3 6/10 divided by 9/10 is the same as 36 divided by 9. When I divide 36 divided by 9, what do I get? Well, 36 divided by 9 is 4. 9 times 4 is 36 with none left over. So 3 6/10 divided by 9/10 is the same as just plain 4. Let's look at another example. Sometimes multiplying by 10 over 10 isn't enough to get me a whole number division problem. Let's look at this one. 2 8/10 divided by 4/100. Well, here, when I'm dividing 2 8/10 by 4/100, if I multiplied by 10, I'd still have a decimal in my divisor. So I need to multiply by 100 and move the decimal once, twice, once, twice. So my new problem is 280 divided by 4. Now I can solve. What's 280 divided by 4? 280 divided by 4 is 70. So 2 8/10 divided by 4/100 is 70. Let's do one more example together before you try a few on your own. What's 9/10 divided by 3/100? To create a whole number division problem where my dividend is a whole number and my divisor is a whole number, how many times will I need to move the decimal? I'll need to move it twice by multiplying times 100 in both the dividend and the divisor. Once, twice, once, twice. So my new division problem is 90 divided by 3. What's 90 divided by 3? 90 divided by 3 is 30. So 9/10 divided by 3/100 is 30. You try a problem. What's 4 5/10 divided by 5/10? Let's see how you did. When I divide 4 5/10 divided by 5/10, the first thing I need to do is multiply by 10 and by 10 to create a new problem. It's the same as 45 divided by 5. 45 divided by 5 is 9. So 4 and 5/10 divided by 5/10 is 9. Sometimes I'll start with a whole number. What's 4 divided by 8/10? Well, remember that that's the same as 4 and 0/10 divided by 8/10. The first thing I need to do is multiply by 10 over 10 to create a whole number division problem. I'm going to move each decimal once, and my new division problem is 40 divided by 8. What's 40 divided by 8? 40 divided by 8 is 5. So 4 wholes divided by 8/10 is 5. Now it's time for you to try 3 problems. What's 2 and 7/10 divided by 3/10? Let's see how you did. 2 and 7/10 divided by 3/10 is the same as 27 divided by 3. That new problem yields the result of 9. 2 and 7/10 divided by 3/10 is 9. Now try another one. What's 3 divided by 5/10? Let's see how you did. 3 divided by 5/10 is the same as 30 divided by 5. 30 divided by 5 is 6. So 3 divided by 5/10 is 6. Try one last problem. What's 2 and 1/10 divided by 7/100? Go ahead and solve that problem now. 2 and 1/10 divided by 7/100 is the same as 210 divided by 7. The answer is 30. Don't forget, when you're dividing a decimal by a decimal, you can multiply the dividend and the divisor, the numerator and the denominator, by the same number to create a whole number division problem. You're going to do a great job on your exit ticket. Go ahead and log straight into KNOS Illuminate.